achieving success. If you're an entrepreneur, you're going to want to watch this video, listen to the live, or maybe even check in on the recording, because we're going to talk about these 6 obstacles to success, and I'm going to give you some solutions of what to do about them. Hi, I'm Dr. Nicole. My passion is to help you to get your life back, to help you turn the page in the story of anxiety and burnout and overwhelm, and to help you actually reach your goals and live the life that you desire to live. My zone of genius is anxiety, and I work a lot with entrepreneurs. And as an entrepreneur myself, I've been there. And so if you're feeling overwhelmed, if you're feeling stressed, then this is the live for you. So when it comes to anxiety and stress, there was an article in Forbes that said that over 49% of people deal with anxiety. In fact, 1 in 5 individuals on an average day-to-day basis will struggle with clinical anxiety. And when we look at the entrepreneurial population, that number actually reduces down to 1 in 3. So if you're in a room with 3 people, the odds are that somebody in that room is going to be dealing with anxiety if you're entrepreneurs. And so when we think about entrepreneurship, there are differences between people who feel frazzled and stressed and overwhelmed and who are successful and those who don't make it. There's a staggering statistic about how in the first 5 years of business, over 65% of the businesses don't make it, that they close. And it makes sense to me. In fact, in my story, when I was starting out in private practice, I was working and building and creating and driving, and there's this thing where passion can drive us to the point of where our nervous system can get stuck in overdrive and we can experience anxiety and overwhelm. Has anybody here who's watching this live, have you ever experienced that? Does that resonate with you? Where you're so excited about something and so passionate about doing that thing or achieving that goal or making that creation that you just feel so frustrated and you feel so overwhelmed, and that passion is actually driving you into a state of stress. And I've shared my story before, and really generally speaking, my passion caused me to become obsessed with helping people with anxiety and mental health, that I ended up pushing myself into a state of really severe anxiety and insomnia. And so we often will go to all of the experts. We'll say, what can I do for stress? And we get coaching, and we get really well-intended doctors who are like, you have to eat right, you have to take the right supplements, you have to do the right mantras, you have to meditate, you have to rest, you have to do all of the things. And I was doing all of the things. Do you resonate with this? Is anyone with me? Give me a heart or a wave or a note to let me know that you've been there too, where you feel like you're doing everything right, but you're not meeting your goals. That there's this like brick wall that you come up against. That there's this feeling where you're just stuck, right? In fact, I was just interviewed this morning by Femme Badass Babes, and she was talking about how one of the biggest things that they run into is that there's all these driven entrepreneurs and they're so excited, but then they hit this brick wall. They feel like they get stuck. And so today I'm going to talk with you about a solution for that I have created, and it's free, and I'll tell you about it at the end. And we'll also talk about some of the common pitfalls that can get in the way of entrepreneurs meeting their goals and becoming successful in changing the way that you were designed to do. And so there are 6 main mental health conditions, mental health symptoms that entrepreneurs can experience. And one, I think a lot of you will resonate with this, it's imposter syndrome. Anybody with me? Imposter syndrome. It's when you feel like an intellectual fraud. It's when you go up in front of people and you feel like, I don't deserve to be here. I don't actually know what I'm talking about, and they're going to figure it out. If you felt that way, you are not alone. In fact, I'm looking at my monitor behind my phone here, and there's a statistic that came out of Kajabi. Kajabi is a leading entrepreneurial platform, and they reported that 85% of entrepreneurs deal with imposter syndrome. 85%. And so if you're trying to put yourself out there and you're trying to think clearly and you're trying to be creative and innovative and write copy and do public speaking and do all of the things that you need to make your business grow, and you feel like a fraud and you feel like an imposter, even if that doesn't actually objectively stop you from doing what you need to do, it's going to very much impact the energy that you are putting out in the world, and people can pick up on that. So that's something that 85% of entrepreneurs deal with. The second thing is anxiety. And by anxiety, I'm talking about feeling stressed. I'm talking about feeling frazzled. I'm talking about that feeling of I have too much to do and not enough bandwidth. It's that feeling of where you're coming up against a wall. The third is insomnia, dealing with difficulty sleeping. The fourth is feelings of depression, just feeling like discouraged. And that's why a lot of business owners give up, is these feelings of I'm a failure, I don't have enough skills in this, I don't feel like the world is receiving it well. You're dealing with dopamine deprivation every time that you post something and you get a certain amount of hits and then maybe less on the next post. You deal with dopamine fluctuations. And then the last is loneliness. And oftentimes in entrepreneurial life can be a very lonely life because you're in the world creating something that's new, that you're passionate about, that you're doing. And that's quite a lot different than working in a big practice that somebody else is running, where you have colleagues. Being an entrepreneur can be lonely. In fact, 61% of people feel lonely. And then when we think about coming out of a world that's been inhibited by a pandemic, those feelings of loneliness can increase. And so if you're an entrepreneur and if you feel like you're hitting that brick wall and you feel frazzled and frustrated and overwhelmed, know that you are not alone, and there are strategies that can work really well. So I'm going to give you some solutions for success, but I really want to make sure that we talk also about the pink elephant in the entrepreneurial world, which is the main thing of the main thing that is really holding entrepreneurs back. And so that's going to be the bonus at the end, and that's free. I'm going to share with you a free resource for that really works. And I've worked with tons of entrepreneurs. I've worked with TikTok stars. I've worked with celebrities who are acting. I've worked with all sorts of different types of people. I've worked with stay-at-home moms. I've worked with CEOs. And the strategy that I'm going to share with you really works. And I'm going to give it to you for free because I'm so passionate about you getting results. That's what I'm here for. This is my passion. So I'm going to give you some success hacks. And then at the end, I'm going to tell you about the thing that gets to that pink elephant. So you ready? Okay, so number one success hack is to get into a mentorship collaborative. We used to call these mastermind groups, but the thing with mastermind groups is that by the time you get into the group, often the information is outdated. And so what you really want to look for is people who are willing to collaborate with each other, mentor each other, build each other up. There's a speaker and he was talking about how if you want to look at your level of success is to look at the 5 people you spend the most time with, because we kind of create these think tank bubbles. We either bring each other down or we encourage each other, and then we can help each other get to where we have been. And so make sure that you're creating intentional membership collaboratives. And so that's success hack number 1. Success hack number 2 is to get consultation. You can't know everything, and sometimes imposter syndrome comes out of really truly not knowing what you need to do. So maybe your zone of genius is helping people with nutrition, but you're not so good at the QuickBooks side. So finding a business consultant or an accountant will be a game changer for you and free up mental space so that you can really focus on what's important. So get consultation, maybe get a coach, maybe get a business advisor, maybe get a mentor who has done what you're trying to do. So success hack number 3 is you want to use mental health fitness exercise. I have a wellness springboard that's in the link in the bio, and it's totally free, and it has a bunch of mental health hack exercises. In order to create that, I looked at all of the different research on what really successful people are doing and what is really similar across them, and I put it together in a springboard for you. I also have information in there for you on what you can do with your body, and if your nervous system is frazzled, stressed, overwhelmed, burned out, I have solutions in there for you too. So mental health exercises. Your mental health is so profoundly important in being an entrepreneur, and so you want to make sure that that's on target. And then a pattern interrupt. So there's this really interesting study that was done where they looked at productivity of employees in a warehouse. And so they had all these variables and they were all the same, and then they measured the productivity of the employees. And what they did is they changed one variable. It was the lighting. They changed the wattage in the light bulbs, and that was it. And then they measured productivity. Interestingly, the researchers found that productivity jumped way up when they did a pattern interrupt and they changed the wattage in the light bulbs. But what they observed that was really unexpected is that that productivity benefit actually started to go away over time. And so what did they do is they went back to the original wattage and productivity jumped up again. So researchers concluded that it was the change, it was the pattern interrupt, it was something different. So if you're feeling stuck, if you feel like you're losing momentum, if you feel like you're out of bandwidth, if you feel stressed or overwhelmed or uncomfortable or like you're hitting a wall, or if you're dealing with intrusive obsessive thoughts or repetitive thoughts, or if you feel like you have ADD or ADHD and you just can't get organized, your nervous system probably needs a pattern interrupt. And so pattern interrupts are anything that stimulates the nervous system, like light and sound and smell and taste and touch and temperature in your scenario. So change the wattage in your light bulbs. Maybe work in a different space. Maybe change the aromatherapy that you're using in your office. Anything that you could do to change it up can help boost your productivity. Okay, and then the last of the mental health success hacks is I actually wrote an entire article on batching and automation, and I'll make sure to share that link in the comments. You could also find it by clicking the link in my bio. Everything we talk about here is in the link in the bio, and you just simply click on the button that says blog, and then when you get to the blog, you can scroll through or even search, and then you'll find my entrepreneurial hacks in there. Okay, so now we've gotten to the really good part. So if you just jumped on, we've been talking about being an entrepreneur. We've been talking about the link between entrepreneurship and mental health, and your well-being as an entrepreneur is incredibly important in your success. And your success is important in your profit. And so getting to the root cause of obstacles that you're dealing with will help you to reach your entrepreneurial goals. And so we've been talking about, and I've been leading you up to this moment where there is a big pink elephant in the room. If you feel like you've hit a wall, if you feel like you're at a plateau with your YouTube subscribers, if you feel like you're not getting as many calls, if you're not converting as many clients, if you feel like you're not able to be creative, then you may be in need of the 3-minute hack. So what I've done in the 3-minute hack, and it's free, totally free, the link is in the bio, so make sure that you get it, is the 3-minute hack will actually teach you how to go in and directly target that big pink elephant. And so stories help me a lot, and so I hope that this story will help you. And so in the beginning of this live, I was sharing with you my story about dealing with all of this stress and all of this anxiety and building a private practice and building an online presence and teaching medical students and all of the things. I owned a supplement company at the time, like all of the things, right? And I was making all of the right choices. I was taking supplements, I was exercising, I was going to yoga, I was eating really nutritious food, I was doing meditation and mindfulness, and yet the anxiety and the overwhelm kept building and building and building. So I went to all of the experts and they told me all of the things to do, and yet there was this big pink elephant in the room. And by big pink elephant, I mean there's this obstacle, there's this brick wall, there's this thing that's blocking you from reaching your goals. It's this feeling of stuckness. And the 3-minute hack will help you identify what that is and what to do about it. So the 3-minute hack will help you identify what your obstacle is, where did it come from, and what you can do about it. So check out that link in my bio. It's about a 30-minute presentation, and I explain everything in there. I'm going to teach everything in there. There's a beautiful video that you're going to be able to watch, and it's all free. And by the end of the video, you will have the skills to do the work to get rid of obstacles as they come up, and you can do them in under 3 minutes. So an example is I had an entrepreneur I was working with, and she was stressed, and she was overwhelmed, and she was really afraid of public speaking, but a big part of her job is that she had to go up on stage in public speech. And so she's terrified every single time. She had to take a benzodiazepine medication, which then slowed down her brain, and then she was a zombie the rest of the day. What she ended up doing is she did the 3-minute hack, and she found the root cause of why she felt afraid of public speaking, and you would never guess what it was. So check out the 3-minute hack, because what could be at the bottom of your lack of achieving your goals could be something that you never expected. So check it out. Again, the link is in the bio. Thank you so much for being here today. I honor you. I love you. I respect you. This has been Dr. Nicole, and make sure that if you haven't followed us, that you click on the follow button. We're here every single week sharing tons of free content. If you haven't seen our YouTube, all of the videos that we do here end up getting placed on our YouTube, so you'll have access to everything there. And so I will see you next time. Thanks so much for being here. Lots of love.